Well, we are back with another tremendous edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, and so happy you are joining us today on whatever platform. We have a young lady on that's going to be a great, great guest. You're going to be hearing more about her. And, as always, we hope you're getting out and getting a chance to play some golf. The weather here in Vegas is good. It's not cold. It's been breezy the last few days, and we expect some more breezes, the rest of the week. But the temperatures are getting up there a little bit, so it's good. So if you don't mind putting on a wind shirt and getting out, it's really, really, really all good. A lot going on with the PGA Tour. A lot going on with Commissioner Monahan, who's in deep doo-doo, as I predicted a while ago. And I think the guy's going to be out of a job by the end of the year. We'll see if that comes true. There's more and more things that are heading towards that. But we're not talking about the PGA Tour today. We are talking about a new women's tour that is starting up, that we've had people on the last couple of weeks, and I'm really looking forward to that thing getting off the ground, and because I believe in the mission, I believe in the purpose, and it's going to be fun. So we have a young lady that is going to be involved in that tour, so we're going to get some more information about that. Let me tell you about our special guest today, Carolyn Blalock, probably no relation to my good friend in Boston, Jane. Carolyn is a former LPGA Tour winner with not one, not two, but three victories. She was named the Southern Conference Female Athlete of the Year in 1994 and Player of the Year, which is pretty strong, in 1995. Carolyn was inducted into the Furman Athletic Hall of Fame in 2000, and she was a three-time winner of the National Golf Coaches Association Long Drive Championship, so obviously she can move the ball. Carolyn is preparing to be a competitor on the newly formed Infinity Women's Golf Tour, which we're going to talk about, and which has been partially put together by her good friend, former LPGA winner as well, Danielle Amakapani. So I'm looking forward to it because I just think it's going to be absolutely great. So right now, without further ado, let's bring Carolyn on. Carolyn, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on, and we're looking for you to have a lot of fun, and we'll get some good information. How familiar are you, by the way, with my friend Jane Blalock, and are you related in any way? I'll get you. You were probably asked that a million times.
Yep, I was. Well, first of all, thank you for having me because I'm super excited to talk golf. I don't get to do that too often. But I do know Jane. We've met a couple of times. She's a bit older than I am. She had pretty well retired
Yeah.
when I was on my tenure, when I was during my LPGA tenure. So our paths didn't cross very much, but we are not related. My my last name is now actually Smith, but then Blalock was spelled with a Y, and she does not spell her name with a Y. So no relation.
No relation. Okay, yeah, she's a terrific lady, and I'm glad that you met a couple of times and so. But that's the first thing I thought. Oh my God, we got a relative going, or or something like that. That is true. All right, let me start off and ask you, why Furman? Why did you go to Furman?
Oh,
You
wow.
probably had a choice of a number of colleges.
Yeah, you've just sort of opened Pandora's box. I did have a number of choices, but not for golf. Basketball was my number one sport back in the day, and I probably
Really?
had 20 to 30 plus offers
Wow.
for basketball. Took my recruiting trips to Tennessee, North Carolina, Indiana, Auburn, and Georgia. And then, but I didn't start playing golf till I was 13. So I was really raw, not very erratic. I could hit it hard and I could hit it far. But I only was recruited by 4 schools, and Furman was one of them. North Carolina was the other, and Auburn, and I can't remember the fourth one. But I chose Furman because I really liked the small campus,
Uh-huh.
and I mean the small student body,
Yeah.
and they had their own golf course, and I really resonated well with their coach, who is now the coach at Alabama. His name is Mick Potter, and I would probably say that it's because of Mick that sort of the proverbial light bulb went off for me for golf, and I was able to really sort of improve during my college career,
That's good.
and subsequently, was able to play professionally for a while.
That's good. That's very good. What got you interested in golf? Who got you started?
So
How did you get the bug?
well, I mentioned earlier to you, I'm the youngest of 5 children, and there's a 10-year span. So by the time I was 8, 9, 10 years old, a lot of my siblings had moved on to college and whatnot, and I literally played everything that you could play: Little League boys baseball, basketball, tennis, whatever. And I was playing tennis at the time when I was about 12 years old, and we live in a very small town. We live in the hometown of Doug Sanders, actually, is where I grew up, and I still live today. And I was practicing with my mother, and I kept hitting her. She couldn't get out of the way of the ball, and I kept hitting her, and she started to cry. So I thought, well, I'm just going to do something that I can do by myself. Like I don't need anybody to do it. And
Yeah.
that's, which is, being the youngest of 5, you kind of you get into that mindset of
Yeah.
you don't need anybody to play with. So I found a set of old Louise Suggs clubs under my grandmother's house. I'm talking persimmon head, the leather
Wow.
wrapped
Wow. Wow.
grips, the whole
Wow.
deal. So I started playing and just loved it. And at the time I was 13, and my dad and I was begged my dad for some new clubs, and he said no, that I had to work for him. So I got a job at the golf course, picking up balls and putting them in the striper, with the marker
Yeah. Yeah.
and striping them. And at the end of the summer, I was able to buy the odd number clubs. And he said if I continued to practice and play and whatnot, that the next year, spring, he would buy me the evens, which is what happened. So then I had a full set by the time I was, 14.
Yeah.
And then I just kept playing.
It was great. Good for you. That's a great story.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good story. First odd and then even. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that worked, because some people told me you were a little odd, so I
I
guess that
am
goes
on.
down. Yeah.
I own
Okay.
that. I completely own that.
How did you come across and become friends with Danielle? I know she thinks very highly of you.
And I do her as well. Both she and her sister. So Danielle's a little bit older than me, and was obviously very successful on the tour. My
Yeah.
rookie year was '97, I think. And she was at the time one of those players that you just, her name was always at the top of the leaderboard, and just very competitive, great work ethic. You when you're out there and you spend that much time with people, you just observe
Yeah.
them on the range and on the putting green, and you just try to emulate the actions and the habits of the people that are successful. So
Yeah.
I remember being a little bit intimidated by her initially when I met her, because she is so driven. But then you get to know them, and we have spent multiple months and whatnot traveling to the same events, and you have dinner and you get to know people off of the golf course, and you just develop that camaraderie. And so I have a great appreciation for both she and her sister, because they're great people and come from a great family. I used to love going to the tournament in Phoenix and going to Planet Moon Valley, and then we'd go to their dad and mom used to run a bar, and we used to go
Right.
there and have a good time. So just a lot of good memories.
Yeah. When she was on the show, I probably said the idea for Infinity probably came when you were with your dad at the sports bar that you own with him, throwing a few back. And, she said, no, no, but did spend some good time there. Yeah. Uh, Terrific, terrific gal. Like I said, I totally am into what she is trying to do, and I want to get into that a little bit with you. What, in your opinion, Caroline, does the LPGA Tour have to try to do to kick up the ratings, maybe attract bigger sponsors, so they could kick up the prize money? And then I got a follow up as far as the prize money, something I read this morning that just blew me away. And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but we'll get into that after your response to this.
Well, this is it's
I
not
mean,
a
I don't know. Are,
controversial.
are you still watching women's golf?
No,
No. Okay.
I don't. Not because I don't enjoy it. Well, first of all, everybody's paths are different. I retired in 2003 after having two children in the same calendar year, not on purpose. So I have two
Wow.
boys. Yeah, I have two boys that are 364 days apart, and they're currently 23 and 22. So I spent 10 years, I never played golf basically for 10 years. So I spent, the moment it was about them. So once I had the latitude to play and watch, I probably watched a little bit. But your interests change a little bit and your focal points change. So I don't watch a lot of it now, but I think about these topics all the time. In terms of marketing and exposure, and how do you drive people to watch and support
Yeah.
professional sports?
Yeah.
Case in point, I had a conversation the other day, yesterday, about the NBA today, and I said, how does the NBA sell or attract middle-aged white females to watch and support their event? Just like, why would middle-aged African American females support dirt track race car driving? What are those variables, those outliers that sort of cast the net? And I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but this is the mind of sort of marketing, and how do you put out a product that appeals to everybody,
Yeah.
regardless of
Yeah.
gender,
Yeah.
race, religion, whatnot. So
It's not
I think
easy.
in terms of, it is not. And I think in terms of women's golf, we saw a period of time where we had, and I think we're still on the tail end of that. Um, Again, I'm not being racist or stereotypical, where we had the vast majority of what you were seeing on TV were Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, more of the Asian players, which are remarkably talented. But that's difficult for American based companies to market or support.
Yeah.
I mean, you see all of the Korean players that have all of the Korean logos, the CJ and the Uniqlo, and all of these Korean branded products. They are capturing the TV time and the exposure for that. But how do we do that for Americans? So my answer to your question is, I think we need more domestic players to be successful and play good golf, and to be articulate and attractive and outspoken and go-getters and really brand savvy. And I think that's, when you had, and I hate to say this, but our generation of Dottie Pepper and Julie Inkster and Brandy Burton and Danielle Makapani, they understood the value of the tour and what it provided for, the opportunity that it provided for women's golf.
Yeah.
And they were great. Dottie Pepper's a good friend of mine, and she is a fierce competitor. And I think people love to see that just raw grit and
Yeah.
competitiveness
No doubt.
in women's sports with composure.
Yeah. Well, no doubt. No doubt. No, that's a very, very good answer, Caroline. That was a very, very, very well said. I've got a follow up on that as far as the Asian players and so on and forth. That I'm going to ask you right after we come back. We're up against a break, so stay with us. We're going to be having a lot more with Caroline Blalock, Caroline Smith. I'm sorry. So stay with us. We
Okay.
are back right after this.
The youngest golf CEO in the country, Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf, preparing for his second annual Autism Awareness Golf Tournament and the anticipated release of his first book, Swinging Beyond the Spectrum. At just 13, Carter has overcome multiple trials and celebrated many triumphs. Now hear his moving story told in his own words. The book, Swinging Beyond the Spectrum, How Autism Became My Superpower on and off the golf course, is on pre-sale now. Buy the book and get a free t-shirt. Register today for the golf tournament or sponsor it. Go to cartersspectrumgolf.com for details.
I'm Dennis Silvers, host of the 19th Hole Golf Podcast, asking each and every person who plays golf, beginner or seasoned player, what's the most important club in your bag? Chances are you'll get a lot of different answers. There really is only one right answer. And if you guessed your putter, you are 100% correct. Just ask any professional golfer, man or woman who plays on any major tour. I am very excited to announce that Zebra Golf, one of the game's most iconic putter brands, has made a long-awaited return to golf's retail marketplace with the launch of their milled series that feature 4 new putter styles designed to suit even my putting stroke. All putters, like golf clubs, are not created equal. Zebra mill putters are now offered in your choice of 4 awesome models, 2 blades, 1 mallet, and 1 higher MOI Fang design, with adjustable weights available to help customize your putter. All come with a mid-size grip for enhanced feel. So, if you want the one club that's going to lower your scores, why wait? Go to zebragolf.com and put one in your bag today. The only thing you've got to lose are strokes.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. We're back with our special guest, Caroline Smith, and of course, we're talking golf. And picking up on your last comment, when are the American players ever going to start dominating again, like they did a few years ago? And why aren't they dominating now? I just don't get it. You look at the front page of the leaderboard of a tournament, 8 out of the 10 names there are Asian players. And what's happened to them?
I think, again, I'm going to go back to post-Sari Pak era. She won the U.S. Open, I think 2 times. They might have been in a row. I can't remember. But after that, you saw a huge wave of the Asian players coming into the U.S.
Yeah.
full-time,
Yeah.
really, really young.
Yeah.
down to Florida to IMG, and that's it. That's all they did is practice, practice, play, play, play year round.
Right.
And it with the singular mindset that they're going to play professional golf on the LPGA tour. And I think, you're seeing sort of the ripple effect of that now. The American system where, we play junior golf through the AJGA up
Right.
to college, and now we go to college and you're still playing competitive golf. Even that landscape has changed in the last 5 to 10 years. I have several friends and colleagues that are my age that are college coaches that are just they said it's just remarkable how the landscape has changed, what these kids require, what they're asking for, and the length of time that they're staying.
Yeah.
This whole NIL deal is crazy. I don't think it's as applicable in college women's golf as it would be in football. Obviously, it's not the same because you're not getting the TV time. But I think it's a changing landscape constantly, and ultimately, on a national basis, it's, for lack of a better comparison, it's a little bit more diluted because of the way our system is structured. And, we're not sending our kids to singularly focus on playing golf.
Right.
We're educating them. They're,
Yeah.
I have a master's degree. I mean, I made it into the top 1% of my craft, and I haven't played professional golf since 2003. So in 22 years, I've relied upon my education. So, and have a completely different profession. So I think the focal point is a little bit different. So I don't know if we need a system overhaul or whatnot, but it also depends on the kids too. I mean, you have a lot of kids are focused on multiple sports and
Yeah.
whatnot too. So
Yeah, no, that's well said, Caroline. And I don't think there's anything wrong with depending on your education, because that is
oh,
important.
absolutely not.
Okay, that's going to be there whether your golf game leaves you or not. And that's a very, very, important thing. But let's turn. Well, I heard something that I almost fell off the chair this morning at breakfast when I was reading this on Google. Maybe you know something about it. There are some top players on the LPGA Tour, Kelly Norda for one, and different, that thinks the PGA Tour champion should be done away with. And I'm going, what? And I'm reading. It seems that this whole thing started, and I forgot what tournament. There was a guy who hadn't been playing professionally that long that got into one of the tournaments, and he shoots $1 million. I think he was like 25 over par or something like that. And, obviously that's not right. That's an embarrassment. And they said, well, you know what? That, it's prone to happen on a tour like that. Why don't we just eliminate it, number one? And number two, if we did, we could maybe move some of that money, some of that prize money and sponsorship over to the LPGA Tour. And I'm going, wow. I've talked to industry insiders. I've talked to other golf media people about the possibility of the Champions Tour going away. But when it becomes an active thing now, have you heard about that, number one? And what are your thoughts on that?
I have not heard about that. I don't think the Champions Tour is going anywhere because you're about to see an influx of Tiger, Phil, Justin Leonard, that whole conglomerate of player that really, truly exploded. They're the impetus for the explosion of revenue and exposure on the PGA Tour. So I think you have a lot of baby boomers and, what am I, Gen X? I don't even know. I'm whatever is behind a baby boomer that would be really excited about watching the Champions Tour. So I think
Yeah.
again though, I don't really follow that. I don't see that going anywhere, and I don't see them reallocating money to the LPGA from the Champions Tour. We missed the boat back in the early '90s when we didn't come underneath in my opinion, when we didn't come underneath the umbrella of the PGA
The
Tour.
PGA Tour, right?
Yeah, and be on the receiving end of all of those television rights and
Right.
whatnot. Which listen, everybody makes
Well, you guys
decisions.
decided to be an island amongst yourself.
Yes,
So we
did,
don't
and
need
guess
them.
where we
Yeah.
are? Guess where we are? We're not playing for the money that they are. We don't have the retirement set up that they do. We don't have, near the infrastructure that they do as a result of that. Now, hindsight's 2020, and I'm sure the people who made those decisions were making them with the variables they had in front of them.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, we missed the boat there and could have been, playing for a lot more money than we ended up
well,
playing with.
that's kind of refreshing to hear. I have talked to people about that, and you get, one side or the other. But also a part of that argument is, Caroline, is that, these people have been around for a long time. They've made enough money. They've got enough money without this tour. They don't need it. And I don't know whether you buy into that or not. I don't think you could ever have enough money, but that's just part of the argument. So it's going to be interesting to see if this thing gets some legs and where it ends up. I agree with you. I don't think it's going anywhere, but with people coming on board pretty soon, like you say with Tiger, they're going to pay him plenty of money to play the Champions Tour and Phil and all of that kind of stuff. So it will be interesting. All right, tell us a little bit about this new tour that I'm really excited about. That has in part been started by your friend Danielle, and I know that you're going to be a part of it. I know that she's looking not so much to play, but she's going to be more on the business end from what she told me. But tell us about that and how you got involved in that.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. What we have learned through sort of trial by fire is we don't have a place to play. And as senior women, there is a Legends Tour, but the vast majority of events that they had are limited field events. They typically have the same players and whatnot. So there's a healthy number of former LPGA players that would love to play golf. And Danielle and myself and Brandy Burton and Maura Dunn and a couple other players have really, we've been talking about trying to figure out a way to put more opportunities for that group of people on the table. And Danielle has really dug her fingers in and done the legwork and done all the hard sort of politicking. And she has, gone out and met with multiple people, and with Ty 20 and that, some of these private equity firms, and the result of that is is going to be the Infinity Women's Golf Tour, which, in my opinion, I'm really excited about, because not only do we get to play golf, but it supports a global golf initiative worldwide by partnering with the UN,
Right.
And supporting those 17 goals of gender equity and sustainable water sources, and there's a whole list of really meaningful initiatives that extend far beyond golf. Golf is just the conduit by which we're able to sort of have those conversations.
Right.
I'm really excited about that. This first year we're doing, I think it's 6 exhibitions all over, Italy, Spain, Morocco, Abu Dhabi, Rio de Janeiro, and then again in Florida. So really looking forward to those events, meeting some really cool people, playing some golf, and then in 2026 we'll roll out a full schedule. So that's sort of how I got into that.
Yeah. Have you found your passport?
Oh, I have a passport. I am a travel junkie.
Are you really? Good for you.
Oh,
I am too.
yes, I am too. I usually take my mom. My mom is 82, and I usually take her on a geriatric cruise every year. It's the best vacation ever.
Oh, that's cold. That's cold. Oh
No,
man.
it's good because they gamble, they sleep, they eat, they exercise, they'll get a massage, or they'll go on an excursion. And you only have to unpack once. There's nothing
Yeah.
bad about that.
Well, that's true. That's true. Oh,
And you're in a different country every day.
that's very true. What do you think about the format of this tour, Caroline?
I love it.
You love it. All right. Tell
I
all
love
of our
it. You
viewers
say
a little
why?
about the format. You've got a team thing, got an individual thing, and
Yeah.
I think it's cool. And you got gambling.
Yeah. That's why I said I love it because, and you have on each team, you'll have sort of for lack of a better description, you'll have an ABCD player. So you
Right.
can't have one team that's all stacked with,
Yeah.
Solheim Cup players.
Yeah.
So it'll be equitable, but it'll be fun. It'll have a little bit of feel to like the live in that you have teams and players can be traded but then you also have sort of like this new Tiger Woods deal that I've only seen it once. I don't know what it's called on that where you watch on TV and they're in that
Yeah.
facility. And you have all the chirping and the trash talking. That I love that. You guys don't think that the women do it, but we do it for sure.
Oh, I bet you do. I bet you do. That very much would be fun. And I know you've got activities planned at night and stuff. And like I said, I think the cause is great, number one, and you're going to see some legends out there, some very familiar people, and you're going to hopefully see some good golf. And I told her that's why I'd love to get involved in it and help out any way that I could. Do you know anything about the golf courses domestically once that happens next year?
I do not. I don't. I really Danielle is keeping that under wraps, and I think wisely because we want this to just really be received well as an opportunity for people to play.
Right.
When you experience when people experience change or something new, there's a bit of adversity.
Yeah.
Or
True.
the reception might be like, I don't know, why are they doing that? But really, at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for people I'm going to say in the wiser, older, seasoned category of life to play and to still enjoy the game and.
Yeah.
And hopefully the fans will like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think so. All right. Stay with us, Caroline. We got to take another quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to get some more specific questions to you. And stay right there. And we will be right back. I promise we're not going anywhere. More with Caroline right after this. Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, host of the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers. Here to tell you about a product that's improved my game, Poptical sunglasses. Unlike ordinary sunglasses, Popticals are collapsible using a unique rail system that lets you easily store them in their protective case. They offer crystal clear vision, UV protection, and are scratch resistant and water repellent. Made in Italy, they look great on and off the course. Plus, Popticals come with a 2-year warranty, a 30-day return policy, and make the perfect gift for the golfer in your life. Visit Popticals.com for more info.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. More with Caroline Smith. And Caroline, I want to ask you this. How much do you think would scores be affected if no practice rounds were played at the venue you're going to have the tournament? I know practice rounds are very important for some specific reasons, but do you think the scores would be that much affected if you didn't get a chance to get out and play some practice rounds?
I think it depends on your caddy. Because a lot of times caddies will pre-walk or, we do have pretty comprehensive yardage books.
Yeah.
And, now I played in the U.S. Open, Senior Open, not this past summer, but the summer before at Waverly. And I went in to get a yardage book. And typically we had this one guy that would travel the tour and do the yardage books. And you show up on Monday and you pay for your book. So I go in and they give you a book. Well, I open it and it looks like a heat map in this, on this thing. And I was like, wow, that's really colorful. But, in talking about differences between playing 20 years ago and playing now. So I think, and now we have rangefinders. So, I think you're probably where you would see strokes lost or gained would be obviously around the greens.
Green, sure.
Just seeing the grain, where to be above the hole. I think about somewhere like Augusta National. You can't even seeing it on TV. Can't do it justice. I remember the first time I played there thinking, oh yeah, and I'm going to be below the hole on 9. Well, guess what? You're hitting from a downhill to an uphill green, and you get on the back of the green, and you're just praying for a 2-putt, maybe a 3.
Totally different person as opposed to watching it on. I remember the first time I was there, and I go, "This isn't even the same golf course."
Nope.
More humps and bumps, and more elevation on certain holes, and it is totally different. So you will have caddies. I'd love to caddy for you in one of these events.
Oh, that'd be
Caroline.
fun.
Oh, I'd have a ball watching you play. I think I'd be giggling the whole way. But I'd love to caddy for you. I think we'd have a blast.
Let's do it. Let's do it for sure.
And God forbid you may win with me on the bag.
Oh,
with me on the
listen,
bag.
They would never hear the end of it. I'd be calling Danielle every day.
Yeah,
Just
I know.
Just chirping.
That would be. Let me ask you this, because I'm not sure, and I should be. What are you doing are you having pro-ams?
Well, so you're talking about for the first little bit, or when it kicks off full blast?
Yeah, when it kicks off full blast.
That's a great question. I would imagine that we are. I don't want to speak ahead of my turn because there are a lot of variables in play still. So I'm going to defer to Danielle on that.
Okay. And I think people would love it with this kind of a setup, with the kind of players you're going to have a pro-am. I think you'd fill up in no time.
I think you're right.
I have a chance to play with Caroline Smith. Yeah, I'm there. I don't give a damn how much it costs. I am there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think you're right. I think people are going to, you know what, even when we were out there over and over and over again, we would hear, you guys are so much fun. You're so pleasant to play around. There's no pretension. There's no attitude. Not that that's always the case on the
no, not
PGA
at
Tour,
all, not at all.
you know, and I think there's a difference too when you have people in our stage of life who have been mothers
Yeah,
and, we've raised kids. So we've been through the trenches and done the whole thing. We can relate to
yeah,
people on
absolutely.
so many levels and we can play golf and our games are really pretty suitable and comparable to most golfers. I mean, we don't hit it, now with technology, we don't hit it 330 or 340, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy.
So I think I'm excited. I think it's going to be really cool. It's something totally new and that people can engage in and support. And, everybody wants
Absolutely.
to root for somebody or be a part of a team. So I think that it'll be fun.
Any mention to you, and I failed to ask this to Danielle, about they're saying, well, you're out here, that's great, but you're competing with the LPGA Tour. You may have a
Well,
little bit of
we're
a
really
class,
not
and you're
because
really not. I know.
we're really not. It really sort of dovetails in between that Legends Tour, LPGA Tour.
Yeah,
We're in that sort of no man's land where people just don't have the opportunity to play. So most of the current LPGA players, I would say, by the time I mean, you have a handful that are probably older, but I would say by the time they're 35, they're either retiring to have families or they're not at
yeah,
the pinnacle of their game. So you're
yeah,
not having all that exposure. I think of people like, and I don't know them at all, like Paula Creamer and Natalie Galbus and Morgan Pressel. Some of them have ventured into broadcasting. I don't even know if any of them have children, but you have, again, sort of that sort of post LPGA prime,
right.
where they might want to squeeze in, 4 or 5 tournaments a
Sure,
year.
sure.
You just don't know. So, but this provides them with the opportunity. And that's really what this is about at the end of the day is increasing exposure to women's golf.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Have you guys kicked around the idea of having maybe some form of major champion of a major?
I think there's some talks about having sort of a larger culminating event. Again, there
Yeah.
are so many variables
Yeah.
in the equation at this point, and Danielle and Ty and everybody are really working hard to make sure that this rolls out the right way,
Right.
and that it's sustainable
Yeah.
and supports all of the initiatives that are important with the UN model. So
Yeah.
that's a primary focus for us.
Yeah, and that's you've got to do that. And like I say, I think the overall idea of the tour and what it wants to accomplish, the way you go about it, I told her I just think is great, and I was on board right from the beginning because it is going to be a little bit different. You're going to see players that you're giving kind of a second chance to that you want to see that don't play as often now that used to follow very closely, when they were in their prime. And like I say, I just think it's great, and I would love to become a part of it.
I
But
think
first,
I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great, and I think
yeah,
it's important to note that it's not just the American LPGA players that you're going to see. You're going to see some Laura Davies. You're going to see some Helen Alfredsons. You're going to see,
right,
like, I'm not speaking for them, but I think you're going to see that this is because of the partnership with the UN, because of the global nature of it. I think you're just going to
right,
see a real melting pot and how the
yeah,
LPGA, envisioned it to be. So, but and for the Infinity Women's Golf Tour. I think that they're doing it the right way.
Yeah. And people are going to love that. People are going to love
I
that.
think so too.
You're absolutely right. So how much golf are you playing these days?
Well, I'm kind of a golf snob. I don't play when it rains. I don't play when it's cold, and it just
Boy.
I'm. And I have a full-time job right now. I work for Kaiser Permanente in
Right.
Georgia, so really enjoying that. But when the weather turns,
You're out there.
I'm about 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah, and I know your
Yeah,
husband loves playing.
we have a healthy game at we're members at 2 different clubs, and we have a healthy dog fight 2 or 3 days a week. So I usually jump in there and try to win some gas money.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That is very good. Well, number one, we certainly appreciate you coming on the show. It's been absolutely great. Number two, we wish you all the best when this thing gets off the ground. And I know you're going to enjoy doing these exhibitions all over. And yeah, I do want to get out and loop for you, at least for one tournament. And that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. And I keep
Yeah, we'll have to
begging
do
you.
it. We'll have to mic you up.
Oh, I'd love it. I don't know if
Yeah.
they would just, well, you can't say
No,
that.
no, no. We'll just bring the hook.
Yeah,
Just bring the hook.
exactly right. So anyway, I will let you go because I know you're busy, and again, very much appreciate it. And we're going to have you back sooner than later. Absolutely.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it. Thank you for the time. We appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you out there on the golf course.
You got it, Caroline. Thank you very much. Caroline Smith. Everybody, you're going to be hearing a lot of stuff for when she gets out on the Infinity Women's Golf Tour. So anyway, one more short break. We'll come back. We'll finish up the show. Stay with us.
The Revolutionary Power to Golf Club is helping golfers around the world continue to enjoy the greatest game of all. This amazing club requires no swing to hit shots from 50 up to 225 yards. That's right, no swing to hit shots, including fades, draws, low shots, as well as high ones. One incredible club does it all. Golfers with a wide variety of physical issues, including bad backs, hips, shoulders, and more, are now back in the game golfing with friends and family. Just set the club to the desired distance, and with a push of the button, the easy-to-use Power to Golf Club launches shots down the fairway and onto the green. The Power to Golf Club has been endorsed by some of the biggest names in golf, and the number of golfers enjoying the game by use of our unique technology continues to grow. Whether a physical issue or just want to join in on the fun, the Power to Golf Club is for you. Don't be left on the sidelines. Get back in the game today. Visit at powergolfclub.com. One of the perks about being in golf media is that I get to try every club ever made. Of course, like most things, some are better than others. I'm here to tell you that I have found unquestionably the absolute best performing set of irons I have ever played, and my scores show it. Let me introduce you to Grindworks, custom-fitted irons that are made to fit your game. Grindworks offers players 3 different styles of irons. You can choose muscle-back irons, cavity-back irons, and even blades, along with some awesome wedges. And when you purchase your clubs, Grindworks lets you choose the type of shaft you want, the type grip you prefer, and even will adjust the loft and lie of your clubs if needed. That's unheard of. So what are you waiting for? Feel the power and experience and performance of these amazing clubs. Simply go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046 to order. Trust me, your handicap will love you for it.
All right, that wraps up another great show, and I think Caroline's going to do a really terrific. She's going to be a standout on this new tour, and I can't wait till the thing gets going. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers for Caroline. I'm Dennis Silvers, and remember, get out and play some golf. Keep it in the short stuff. and just have some fun with it. We will be back, same place, same time, next week with another great guest. So until then, so long, everybody.